Hey loves, welcome back to another beautiful tutorial. So today's video we'll be learning how to cut and sew this beautiful circle top that I am putting on. So if you're interested in this tutorial, please keep on watching and let's get started. So here I have my sewing tools ready. I have my scissors and my tape and chalk. And for this tutorial, I'll be making use of this beautiful African print fabric. So this is 2 yards of fabric. That is the amount of fabric I'm going to be making use of. So without further ado, let's jump right into this video. So here I'll be illustrating how to fold this for those that don't have the idea. So fold your fabric into two as I'm doing now. After folding into two, fold into another two, making it into an equal square shape, just like you see me doing. So you have 4 open sides and then you have a closed side. So that is exactly how I cut out my fabric. As you can see, I folded it exactly how I did in the paper. So here I'm going to start my measurements. The first thing I'm going to do is to measure the full length of this top. So I'm going to place my tape at the tip and then I'm going to measure 22 inches all around this top because this is a circle top. So we're going to mark 22 inches all around. Make sure your tape doesn't move from that edge because if it does, you're going to get a wrong measurement. So I placed my tape and marked 22 inches all around. And this 22 inches includes my sewing allowance. So put that in mind when you are cutting out yours. So after doing that, I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. Once I was done, this is what we have. So this is just the regular way we cut our circle skirt. The only difference is that this time around it is a top, not a skirt. So this is what we have, and I'm going to proceed to start with the measurements. So here, the part that has 2 folds, it's going to be my neckline, and the other side is going to be my armhole. So now using my chalk, I'm going to proceed with the measurements. So from this tip, I'm going to mark down 5 inches. So go down by 5 inches. Make sure that your tape is stable and it doesn't move. So I'll go ahead and mark 5 inches all around. Just see what I'm doing. So the next step is to mark the neck width. So I'm going to be marking 4 inches for my neck width. We are going to be using this for the back piece only because this is a halter effect and the front is different. If you're making a normal circle dress that does not have halter effect, then you can use this measurement for both the front and the back. So now the next step is to mark my armhole depth. So from these 5 inches we already marked, I'm going to come down by 3.5 inches. This is because we already came down by 5 inches already and my armhole depth is 8.5 inches. So I already minused 5 inches from that 8.5 inches. That was how I got my 3.5 inches. So but if you want, you can actually start from the tip and measure it. So it's exactly the same thing, 8.5 inches. So after marking my armhole depth, I'm going to connect from that neck width, that 4 inches we took on the neck width. We are going to connect it all the way to the armhole using a curve, just the way you see me doing. So this is our armhole now for the back piece. So now we are going to cut for the front. So because this is a halter effect, I'm going up by 3 inches, as you can see. So go up by 3 inches and make a mark there. And from that point, I'm also going to connect to the armhole. So I'm using my curved ruler to do this. So just watch what I'm doing. From that point, I'm going to make a curve and connect it all the way to the armhole, just the way you see me doing. So once I was done, this is what we have. And if you're still confused on how we got all this line, I will go through over this once. So this is what we did. We came down by 5 inches and we marked this all the way around. This is the normal takeaway we do in our off shoulder, 5 inches. In case you're wondering why we came down by 5 inches. So after that, I marked my armhole depth, which is 8.5 inches. I marked my armhole depth. After marking my armhole depth, I marked my neck width, which is 4 inches. So I marked my neck width. And from that point, I connected to the armhole. After connecting to the armhole, I went up by 3 inches for my halter neck effect. This is for the front. So I marked 3 inches there. And from that point, I also connected to the armhole as well. So that is exactly how we got all this line. So if you're still confused and you have any questions, just comment down below and I'll respond to you. So on this open edge now, one is going to be for the back and one is going to be for the front. So, and also if you don't want this flare, if you don't want your flare to be too much, you can just from this armhole point, you can just create the style that you want. If you don't want it to be too flare. So but me, I want mine to be a full circle, so I'm not cutting out anything. So now I'm going to proceed and cut for the front first. So from this armhole, I'm going to cut all the way. This is for the front. When I'm done cutting, I'm going to go ahead and notch my armhole so that I'll just know where my armhole started. This is optional. So I'm going to go and make a notch. After that, I'll proceed to open up the closed edge. So now we have the front and the back separate. So now I want to separate the front from the back. So I'm going to label this front, just so we know this is the front, because this can be really confusing. And then this is for the back piece. So I'll separate this from the back piece, and then I'll proceed to cut for the back, because the back is different from the front. So from this armhole, I'm just going to make a cut, just the way you see me doing. After that, I'll proceed to notch my armhole as well. So this is what we have for the back piece, and when we open it up, this is what it looks like. It is going to look really confusing because you won't really know the difference between the armhole and the neckline. That is why we notched the armhole, as you can see. So this is the neckline and this is the armhole. So for the front piece, this is how it looks when we open it up. And I know you are wondering why it doesn't have that halter neck effect, but don't worry, this is because it is opened up, and this is our notched armhole. So by the time we bring the flare together like this, you are going to see the halter neck effect. It is not showing because it was opened up like a circle. So here I'm going to notch the tip of this halter neck effect at the front, so that when I'm adding my strap, I'll know the exact place to add it, because it has to be at the center. So I'll go and cut out the strap I'll use for this tutorial. So this is the strap I'm going to be making use of. So the length of this strap is 14 inches long. So I'm going to tell you guys how I cut out the strap for a perfect fit. So you know we came down by 5 inches when we are measuring. So that 5 inches for the front and the back is 10 inches. So I already have 10 inches. Then we went up by 3 inches again. I added that 3 inches, making it 13 inches. So I also added 1 inch for allowance, so which gave us 14 inches. So I'll go over to my sewing machine to sew in the strap. So this is how it looks when we are done. And the next step now is to attach it on our clothes. So please pay attention to this part so that you understand what I did here. So here, this is the notch that we made at the tip of the halter neck, and this is the front. So we are going to start with the front first. So I'm going to join the straps together like this to attach to the top. You guys already know how halter neck straps look like. So I joined it together on top of each other. So I'm going to go ahead and attach it at that notch that we made. So for my facing, I'm going to be making use of this bias tape. You can make use of your fabric if that's what you want. So I'm going to place it on this fabric, and I'm going to sew all around. So this is how I'm going to place it. And once I got to the middle, I made sure to use my pin to hold the strap together with the top so it doesn't move. So here I'll measure out the rest of the bias on the top, and then I'm going to cut out the one that we don't need anymore. Once I'm done with that, I'll go over to my sewing machine and stitch this. When we are done, this is how it's going to look. So yes, I'm going to also top stitch just the way we do with bias. So as you can see, I've gone over to my sewing machine to make a stitch. This is the first stitch we are going to do. Please, when you get to the strap part, please make sure you double stitch so it stays there firmly. So now I'm also going to go ahead and top stitch this so that it looks perfect, just like we do to our bias tape. So I'll go over to my sewing machine to do that. So this is what we have once I was done, and I've gone ahead to sew in everything, and it's looking very neat. So this is how the inside looks. It's just the normal bias tape that we normally do. So this is how I want to do mine. So now I'm going to proceed and cut for the back piece. So for the back piece, I'm also going to use my bias tape to do the facing. And for the strap, I'm also going to use the same bias tape to turn the facing, just the way we did for the front piece. So I'm going to hold my strap and place it at the back piece. We are going to place it exactly where we made the notch for the armhole. That is where I'm placing it. Make sure that your strap is straight so it doesn't rumple. So I'm place it at the back piece like you see me doing, exactly where we did our notch for the armhole. So when doing this, make sure that your fabric is right sides facing each other, please. It is going to be right sides facing each other while you attach this. So that's exactly how my own is. So after pinning the strap to the back piece, I turned it over like this, so we'll work on it. So here I'm going to get my bias tape as well, just like we did for the front, and I'm going to place it all through the whole back neckline, from the armhole to the neckline to the other armhole. So I'm going to just place it. So now I'm going over to my sewing machine and stitch the first one. So guys, here I'm unpinning the straps for the back so that I'll go over it once again in case you're confused. So please pay attention. This is the front piece. We have already added the strap for the front piece and this is how it looks. And we've gone ahead to pipe the neckline as well, and this is how it looks. We used our bias tape to do that. So now we are going to do the same for the back piece. So I opened up my back piece right sides facing each other. Then I'll get my strap and place at the back piece. Please make sure that the strap is straight while you are doing this. Just make sure that it's straight the way I'm doing it. So I'll take it to the back piece and bend it over like this. And where we are placing it is where we made the notch for the armhole. Remember, we made a notch for the armhole. That is exactly where it is going to be sitting. So I used my pin to pin it. And I also did the same thing for the other side. Make sure that your strap is straight. And then bend it over and pin. You see how I'm bending it over? Just do your own like that, please. So just bend it over and pin it. Make sure it is sitting at the place where we made the notch. So after securing my pins, I turned it over like this, and then I'll get my bias tape and I'm going to place it all through the back neckline, just the way you see me doing. So I'll go over to my sewing machine now and stitch this just like we did for the front. So as you can see, I've gone over to my sewing machine to stitch this all the way around. And please always remember to top stitch at the strap place so that it's going to be firm. So yeah, I'm going to also turn it over and make a top stitch just like we do for our bias tape. So I'll go over to my sewing machine and make a top stitch all through. So here I was done, and this is how it is looking. It's looking so neat already, and this is how the front looks. So the next step for us now is to attach the front and the back together. We're going to join the sides. So here I'm going to place this right sides facing each other like we normally do, and I'm going to go over to my sewing machine and attach the sides. So I'm going to be sewing in 1/2 inch. So I'm going to just join it with 1/2 inch all the way from the top to the end of the fabric. So I'll go over to my sewing machine and do that. So here I was done stitching, and this is how it looks. So now I'm going to flip this over to the right side. So this is how it looks when we turn it over, and for this hemming part you can just use your bias tape and hem it, but I'm going to weave mine, so that's why I left it. So guys, our top is ready and is looking so beautiful. If you have any questions, please comment down below. And if you've watched to this point, thank you so much for stopping by. If you've not subscribed to our channel, please kindly subscribe and turn on your post notifications. See you guys in my next video. Bye.